Vera has opinions. Huge shocker.
Don't forget the lube.
Is this thing on?
Good evening, America. Good morning, Australia, and mahalo to everywhere else. Welcome to this week's UCR. I was like, where can I be? We're going to Hawaii soon. Mahalo. Welcome to this week's UCR Live. As you can see, we are a skeleton crew today. We're a skeleton crew. Everyone's coming down with the damn Lukey and work and all this kind of stuff. Someone's here, saved by the bell. Hi.
Straight out of jail. See?
Oh, he can't hear us yet. So
too bad.
Calm down. Welcome to the live show.
Hi.
How are you?
Are we talking to me?
Yeah, we're talking to everyone. We're just doing a bit of an intro, just saying that everyone's kind of come down with the dreaded loogie and stuff this week. We did have a panel of I think six or seven of us, and then everyone's like, "I'm sick. Oh, I have work." Like, it's happened. It's happened. But we are here. There is a fantastic force.
We are here,
ready to go. We're going to start with Christina because she keeps coming back. We love that for her. How are you this week? Gorgeous, what's going on?
Good. My little 3-year-old started preschool today.
Aww.
So that was really tough.
Were there tears?
As tough as it was, but it's okay.
Any tears?
Your baby?
From me, not from her. Like after I left her, that's when I was like, oh my God, she's in school. Like, and not with anybody I know personally, because she goes to a daycare with a lady I knew and like a family friend. So, and she's always with my mom on the other days that she's not. So, just
all
different.
Happens too quick, hey, Christina.
Go. Oh my God, I know it happened so fast. Like,
so she's the last. She's the last baby.
She is the first.
Oh.
She's the first. Well, she's okay. So I have a son, and he's 9 months old.
Yeah.
But I have 3 nieces, and they're all,
big
9, 10, 9, and 8. So
this is your first send off to school.
Yeah, it was sad.
Aww.
But she was so good. She's like, I want to go back tomorrow, and she loved it. So everything was fine. And she came home with like all this artwork. That makes my heart sing. So whatever. Everything else is fine.
Always good when they have a good first day. You're like,
yeah,
I can relax. I can.
Yeah, exactly. The teacher's cool, so that's all that matters. He's gonna live.
Someone else has had a busy school day, haven't they, Luke?
Oh yes. So I didn't even realize, because I'm such a responsible parent and always read the school newsletter, that my daughter's class had a performance today on their assembly, and it was like this big dance number that they were doing. Anyway, she's then reverted halfway through, so it was a Jesus Loves Me song. So while the children are all doing this, like loving, she's there like this, like, and I'm like, that's the dance she's doing for Sesame Street. That is not the Jesus dance.
Tell the ladies the backstory. As to why.
Well, what do you mean the backstory? What backstory do we have here?
Had a conversation with her.
Okay.
Hold on. Before we do that, Lashana, yes, we are. We are going to have a big conversation about Little Mermaid, so stay tuned. So yeah, tell them the backstory behind this dance.
Okay, so because she's coming up to dance competition, so that we've been doing rehearsal. So I've only just now started to make her rehearse at home. I'm like, come on, I'm going to play the music. You can perform. She can do them wonderfully when she's just doing it on her own. When she's on stage, she keeps looking at the other kids to make sure, okay, yeah, we're doing that now. And I'm like, you already know the dance. Don't keep looking at the other kids. Look at the audience. So today, while she was doing this Jesus Loves Me performance, she kept contact with the audience, but she was reverted to a whole different dance, and she was going for it. And all these parents around me are like, wow, look at that little girl go. Like, she really loves Jesus.
That's adorable.
And disco,
now, is she a public school or private?
Private.
Oh, because I'm going to say they are allowed to sing Yes, Jesus Loves Me in public school?
It's a Catholic school. So, yeah.
Okay.
She's just feeling the spirit well and truly, which I would expect
Did you
nothing
capture
less.
it on video for us, Luke?
Well, I wanted to, but then I was like, I don't know, because there's other people's kids there. I'm like, can you film other people's
there's
kids?
a whole
I
big
don't
thing
know.
now that you can't video other people's children without permission. And
I just thought,
But
oh
she's-
well, the school will film it surely. It'll come
She's
out.
very
somewhere.
concerned about her dance career at 5 years old.
Clearly.
Luke and I were talking about going to because when we
fix
come
them
home from
stickled
America, we're going. Yeah. Look, there's a couple of things that we'll fix while I'm there. It's okay. She'll have an on-site dance teacher, and I'll be like, "You need to fix this, this, and this." We're going to Hawaii on the way home, right? So I'm like, "Oh, we should go to a luau. We'll take Buffy to a luau, and so she can see all the girls dance." And her quote was what, Luke?
She was not about it. No. They dance funny, Dad, and it's going to ruin my dancing. I'm like, how do they dance? And then she's doing the... And I'm like, well, you can do it. So what's it going to... Apparently it's going to impact her dance career.
Hello, Ace Browning.
Hey,
Welcome
what
back.
From
Did
Jersey.
he flee Texas? Did he flee Texas?
I don't know.
He's
He
in
looks
Jersey.
like- Yeah,
Did
what are you
Governor
doing in
Abbott
Jersey,
put you on a
Ace?
bus?
Yeah, it's like. Look
Ace,
what
I
they've
had
done to my
amazing
boy.
mimosas at the Jersey airport at 7 a.m.
Jersey. Woo! We've got so much to look forward to. Well, look, what I'm looking forward to maybe the most is Vera. And we're going to be seeing her very soon. Yay! How are you, V?
Every day is a crazy day here in the neighborhood. I don't know how I am. I hit the ground running at 8:30, and I just stopped a few minutes ago to plug in my light, and here I am.
Oh, she's here. But tell the folks about what happened to you. Something cool happened to you today.
It is very cool. I've been
Show
spending
related
my
too.
Thursdays rushing from work to do my mom's meds, then going to a union meeting because I'm on the negotiating team. And last week I made sure they knew I had to leave on time because I had to do the podcast. Well, the vice president of the union made a point of watching the podcast, and he stopped me after the meeting tonight, and he said, I really loved your messaging. I love your politics. I watched a couple episodes. I'd like you to join the political action committee.
Nice.
Yes, I am.
Who would have thought Uncensored
awesome.
Radio would open doors? Who would have
Usually
thought?
it's right?
slamming
It's closed a lot of them, but it's opened one now.
I have another story for you guys. You guys will appreciate this. I had dinner with my 92-year-old aunt last Friday, and one of my cousins was making fun of me for the number of F-bombs I dropped during the podcast.
Oh no, did she watch the podcast?
No, she can't. She can't operate a cell phone. But she clutched the pearls, and she's like, oh, "You used that word?" I said, "Yes, I have used that word." She's like, oh, "You have such a great vocabulary. Why would you use that word?" And I said, "I don't know what happened, Aunt Leah. Trump."
You're like,
I'm crushed to
surrounded
know
by
that you
these people.
participate- that you
I'm just got to
participate.
make my fucking point, Aunt Leah.
Hold on, it gets better. I can't believe that you participate in foul mouth sluttery.
That's our new tagline.
That's your new shirt, Vera,
And I said, "Oh,
in a little
Aunt Leah,
saloon dress.
I completely own the foul mouth part, but you need to know that I am an abject failure at sluttery."
That's a new
Wow.
shirt. Uncensored Radio. I participate in abject sluttery. Was it
Foul mouth sluttery.
Foul mouth sluttery. Uncensored Radio.
Okay.
That's our new shirt. New shirt.
Sluttery.
I'll get it made before we get over there.
Sluttery.
Sluttery. What a fabulous
I know.
century-old word.
What a
Yeah.
blessing.
Sluttery.
There we go, Vera.
I'm
here's the
seeing you,
answer.
Vera, in like a little pair of
Yay,
fishnets.
Oh,
Ace,
yeah.
Oh,
we
I'm
are
seeing
very
you like your
happy.
little cartoon in a little pair of fishnets and like a feather coming out of your head and like a long cigarette stick and like standing next to like at a saloon and like come participate. It's a foul mouth sluttery.
I love it.
I'm there for it.
Honored to be called sluttery, you know. Sure.
I know.
I'm down for the sluttery.
Ace, we have to say congratulations. It's always scary to make a big move, and I think it's probably the best thing you could have done to get out of Texas.
I know, get out of Texas.
Yeah.
You did a good job. All right. Well, now that we're all caught up and we're ready to go, should we dive in?
Let's
Yes.
dive
Talk
deep.
about
Let's
dive
dive.
deep. Hold your nose, kids. We're taking the plunge into this week.
Hot load of hot topics.
That's a
Okay.
foul mouth sluttery.
That's Kitty. She is our foul mouth sluttery.
Well, that's a Vera Kitty combo, that one.
It is
Yeah,
a good
I love it.
combo.
So that's actually Vera's voiceover of Cat Christina.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's because we had the
that's
picture
Vera's
and
sexy voice.
We were joking about it. We're like, haha, someone has to do it. Like Vera should do it. She's like,
Hot
Vera,
load of
knock-
hot topics.
we're like, that's it. She wins.
You'd think
Vera.
McCarthy tried to do it. She sounded so boring, like she was on the nugget couch again.
Oh.
Katie's
Hot
not
load
even
of hot
defending
topics.
herself.
Woo! I know that's why I did it, but Katie, I love you. You just weren't sexy
Alright.
at that moment.
So, literally last week we had huge international news, historical news. That news is still playing out.
Forever.
The death of Queen Elizabeth II. We're going to just briefly talk about some of the reaction to it. It is still we are still in the midst of the 10 days of mourning, so it is still happening. I want to focus a little bit more on the family aspect of it because it's been super interesting to say the least. Now, the first, are you ranting
I have
on this?
opinions.
Here is ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
I have
wait, is that this is my vent finger? But
No.
we're gonna brush. So probably the first biggest thing was the reaction to this. Prince
I
William,
think it's beautiful.
Prince
It's a
William,
beautiful
Kate,
photo.
Harry and
Mhm.
Meghan all came out at Balmoral to speak with the public. The interaction.
And can I say, they spoke really well. They were talking to people, general conversation-wise, and
Yeah.
I thought it was very authentic. It was nice.
This is
It
what
was a
I
good
this
thing
is
for
what I
them
was
to do.
about to say. They are taking up the tradition that the Queen herself said about, as we talked about last week, the general address of the public didn't used to happen. Like they would not get out of a car and speak to general like Bob from
Right.
down the street
Right.
until Queen Elizabeth initiated it to be more, interactive with
Well,
the public.
Diana started it. Come on.
Yeah, but like it wasn't official palace business. Like they did, it
Mhm.
was not of the norm. These guys do it so well. Like even
Absolutely.
today, there was William. I saw William talking about how he had to deal with walking behind his grandmother's coffin and how it was so triggering to him about his mother's death, but he thought he was prepared for it, but he wasn't prepared for it.
Well,
And
there was
being that open to the public is so refreshing.
that one
Yeah.
picture. It was King Charles, Prince William, and one other person, but the abject sorrow that is
Yeah, we're going to talk more
radiating
about Charles
off
a little
Prince
bit later.
Williams is amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
you could see his pain. It was so visceral.
Yeah.
So
You
a
know?
lot's been made about, of course, because it's the British press, our girl Meghan.
This isn't even what I want to talk about.
Alone.
She can't win. She's
Leave
never
her
going to
alone.
win. I think she's
No,
playing it.
There's a photo of
playing
her,
it.
like she's talking to the crowd, and someone's like checking their phone in the background or something. They're like, "Oh, Meghan Markle snubbed by public." Like they just got to drum up drama over
Right.
nothing.
But
Yeah.
look, the interesting thing was, I saw this play out live before they got their hands on it and tried to make it something it wasn't. When they came out of Balmoral and were talking to the people out there, someone handed her a set of flowers, and an aide came up to her and tried to take them from her, and she said something to the aide. And then,
Oh, no, I'll carry them, it's okay.
smiled at them, nodded, and the aide walked away. Now, that interaction was picked up by a couple of news media sites saying that she was being asked to be removed from the shot so that they could get a photo of Harry and William and Kate, and she refused to move.
Oh
They
my
actually
God.
played it with audio like 2 days ago. Someone had asked her to play, she like give her the flowers. She goes, "Do you want me to place them at the gate for you?" And they said yes. And the aide comes up and tries to take them. She said, "Oh no, I said I would do it for them. It's fine. Thank you for asking, though."
Yep.
It's like,
And that's the
they are-
audio.
they are willing to She did you
To
see her
lie.
curtsy at the
Mhm.
Queen's coffin? So for those of you that aren't familiar with royal protocol, the deeper the curtsy or bow, the more respect you're giving to the person that you're curtsying or bowing to. She was on a knee,
Down.
basically. She was
Really?
down. She was look, she's never
But-
going to
and
win.
I don't
but
think there was
she's
ever-
handling it okay.
Elizabeth
Yeah.
and Meghan had a good relationship. It's to do with
For a
the
while.
institution and this
The
media,
institution,
and
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not.
it's a lot of pressure, and it's, you know,
Well, Pierce Morgan had to open his fucking pie hole and go on about
he's
it.
even doing it here. They paid him on the day of her death. He did all the morning TV rounds here. He must have made bank that day. And
Yeah.
every TV station, they perpetuate the drama too. They bring Meghan
absolutely.
up because they know he's going to
Yep.
spew out all this crap, and it's going
Yep.
to get people to watch their show.
Mhm.
So I don't know, like, what kind of world are we in where we
Yeah.
the audience craves this crap?
Well, yes, we all crave the drama. That's why we're here, dishing the tea, or pouring the tea, or whatever the fuck we're doing to the fucking tea.
Spilling it.
Sipping
But-
tea.
My biggest freaking problem with this whole mess is the fact that they're not letting Harry, who served in the armed forces for his country for 10 fucking years and has spent his time since leaving the armed forces creating charities that serve the wounded warriors, not wear his uniform.
That
Yet
has
they're letting
changed.
Andrew, or
That has changed in the last
that
couple of
has
hours.
changed. Good.
So he will
'cause
be wearing. He will
goddamn
be
it, I
allowed
was
to wear.
pissed.
Yeah, he will be allowed to wear his uniform. But Harry did put out a very nice statement. He goes, "I don't want this time to be about the clothes that I wear. This time should be about my grandmother." So
Yeah.
He adored his grandmother.
I think they had a very special relationship. Like, that's part of all of this rolling coverage that the news presenters must be exhausted. I can't even imagine.
Right.
And
Oh,
seeing the
they're
same-
loving it.
But
They're
you're
loving
seeing,
it.
we are seeing bits. I'm seeing bits and pieces that I've never seen before, which is,
Well,
which is humanizing them. And
all the
I think. Oh, sorry.
all the promos for the Invictus games where Harry and his grandmother are making jokes, about they're
Yeah.
betting the Obamas, the American versus British,
Boom.
Yeah, they dropped the mic, and it was really very heartwarming and very real and very loving.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this, as bad as it says, you can't buy this PR for the royal family.
Yeah.
Well, nobody
They
likes King
are-
Charles. King Charles still
Oh,
hasn't got
look.
any good.
I've got to say that
Mm.
first speech was impressive. I watched
All right,
it.
I didn't catch
I
it.
watched it live.
But
I
I-
watched it live, and I think it was the right amount of emotion and practicality.
Steve, did you know that Charles has to bring his orthopedic bed to anywhere he stays?
Well, he has to, because those sausage fingers might have to. Those hands. Have you seen his hands? You'll never be able to look. You'll never be able to look away. But
Oh,
For-
Camilla's
for the
having a
royal-
good time.
for the royal family as a whole, like, there was such a united front, especially at Balmoral. We got to see, the one person that I think deserves a lot more props than they're getting is Princess Anne. She was with her
Yeah.
mother the whole last day of
entire
her
way,
that she
yep.
was alive. She escorted the coffin all the way from Balmoral to Buckingham Palace. She was on
Yep.
duty. But we said this the other week. Charles and Camilla didn't even get 24 hours. They got to Balmoral. Depending on what you believe, she may have already been passed away, or she may, whatever. They got less than 24 hours to deal with that initial shock, and then they were back in London for him to Go. You're
Yeah.
the king. Go. And for someone that has grown up through the whole Diana Charles thing, and he was always painted as, the villain and the arsehole and
Fergie.
whatever. But he has come, to me anyway, he has come across very human. You can see in his face that he is not like, this is, like, he's a bit broken. All of those kids are a bit broken. Like, you can see
Yeah.
that image of them all standing around their mother's coffin guarding her is amazing. Like, it's very moving.
I think she's the queen, yeah, and she's part of that institution. But Elizabeth really brought out the most positive aspects of royalty. I think she brought a lot of.
Eventually. Look,
Eventually, I was going to say,
eventually.
I think that Diana humanized
the Diana
that
thing was a
family.
big turning point for the royal family as a whole.
Princess
They
Di
were very
humanized them.
and like
All of them.
for better or worse, her death forced them into the 21st century because the public
Not just her
wanted
death,
their queen.
though, her life.
Yeah,
but
she
was
but
beloved
the reaction
as,
to her death and the fact
Her
that
Royal Highness.
the fact that Elizabeth was keeping the kids away from London and all that kind of stuff, and she hadn't spoken about it. That's what really forced the country to go, we need the queen. Like, we
Right.
need a response.
Yeah.
We need to know how to handle our grief, because it was just grief. There wasn't direction or anything. There was just this sadness. And then after Elizabeth came back and brought the kids back to London, bowed at Diana's coffin as it drove past her, which is not, the queen bows to no one. In tradition, the queen bows to no one, and for her to tip her hat that way, I think, and to be out there accepting flowers and condolences and all that kind of stuff, it may seem like face value, but for people that grow up or have grown up, especially in the UK, to have that access and that interaction was huge, and it brought them a more human viewpoint, I guess. People saw them as human.
Yeah.
Finally, but I really think that it was Diana as Her Royal Highness.
Yeah, of course.
Princess of York.
She forced them to go.
Forced them to go there. She was the one that was out there. She took her kids skiing. She took them to Disney World. She was with her children. She was with the people. She held children who've had their legs blown up by, minefields.
She held the hands of AIDS patients in the middle of the AIDS epidemic,
Diana
when no one else would.
The royals, yes. Diana humanized the royals.
Exactly. Look at what she's done. You wouldn't see the queen.
Right?
They're outwardly hugging, like they're even after the pandemic. You know what I mean? They're not. They could be like, oh, we're not going to touch people. We're not going to.
Yeah.
They're out there speaking to people and interacting, and that's huge that we've seen.
But that was part of the Queen's speech when they had to lock down for COVID. She said that we will meet again, so she kept her promise. She went back to the public.
So the funeral,
I don't want to minimize Elizabeth's offerings. She was a pivotal part of world history for 70 years. I didn't know a world that didn't have Queen Elizabeth on the throne in England.
None of us do, do we?
Well, and I'm the oldest. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But but Diana really humanized the royals. The royals were becoming an outdated institution. People were getting sick of them and their highbrow ways, and they're not touching people, and they're not bowing or not talking. And Diana reinvigorated the royals.
And she learned, like Elizabeth learned the lesson from it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From that whole experience, from that whole tragic experience, I guess.
Yeah.
She learned the lesson. She's encouraged, and Charles, to be fair, has encouraged his children to to keep their mother's message going. And he could have been like, oh, you can't do that. Or they could have, as the firm, said, you can't do that. Her impact is going to be felt forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. And I think that there's still a few more days, and we're not going to know where all this lands us for another. Charles doesn't get the coronations until next year. So there's a lot that
Really?
can happen. Yep, the coronation is not until next year.
Well,
So,
Nostradamus did predict he would
yes,
abdicate.
there's some Nostradamus predictions popping around, but that's for another podcast. Let's get off the royals because I will be sitting down with our UK correspondent post funeral so we can kind of try and break this all down and understand where it leaves us all. So Lisa and I are going to sit down and have a chat about
Bloody Lisa. Spill the royal
we
tea.
love Lisa. She was up at 2 a.m. last week.
That was wonderful.
God love her
That's
in bed.
great. Yeah.
She's a lovely lady. So let's get off. Let's do something a little bit fun before we get into some more dramatic stuff. Well, not fun, heartwarming. Let's talk about Selma Blair. So actress Selma Blair, who was diagnosed with MS, is currently in remission and competing on Dancing with the Stars.
Remission.
Her journey has been heartbreaking.
She was on the
so
Emmys. Am I the
inspiring.
only one who watched the Emmys?
Yeah, no. The Emmys. How amazing were the Emmys?
I didn't watch
The
the
Emmys for women of color, especially.
Oh yeah.
For women of color to see Shirley Ralph, right?
Shirley Ralph, yep. And Quinta
I was just
Brunson.
like, oh, my little heart, like her kid's reaction. There's so many,
my
so many
son,
great
her
moments.
son started jumping up and down screaming, "That's my
Yeah.
mommy!"
So many great reactions to someone who has
Yeah.
had a career for so long.
Her adult son.
Oh,
Yeah, her
really?
adult
That's my
son.
mommy.
Yeah.
Aw.
But Selma, who is a single mother who is raising her child, her documentary kind of showed you what her day-to-day life was when she was in the midst of everything. It took her a long time to get an MS diagnosis, and heartbreak, like really, really heartbreaking stuff. But to see her not shy away from the public and to go, this is me on a good day, this is me on a bad day, this is me in the midst of a flare-up, this is me raising my child.
Her young child, yeah.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. Yeah.
She's so inspired. Like, she forced me to learn a little bit more about MS because I didn't really know that much about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know like the flare-ups, the remissions. Like, I didn't know all that kind of stuff because you don't like it. Kind of like when people get dementia or like it's one of those diseases where you're like, oh, we don't talk about it because it's sad. Sad stuff happens. And, you know what I mean?
When you said remission, I didn't know what you were talking about. I'm like, can you not have it?
You can have remission, but you never not have it.
Right.
It will eventually kill her.
Yeah.
She can go into periods of remission and exacerbation.
But for someone in the public eye who has been her basis of work has always been quite lighthearted. She was more or less
she was a pretty
actress.
girl. Yeah.
More or less a pretty comedic actress. And
she was in Legally Blonde.
She's shown it warts and all. And I am so excited for her.
I think a lot of the ladies from that era though are showing, like everything's not glamorous in Hollywood. Look at Shannon Doherty as well.
Yeah, Shannon, I was about to say Shannon. Yeah.
Like they're showing like, hey, we're all the same. We are. Whether we've acted in movies, we got money, we don't.
With breast cancer, right?
No, she's got MS as well.
MS as well. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I know.
Oh, not little laps, little Kelly Bundy.
It's like we were talking about with the royal family.
More power to you.
Refreshing that when I guess the old 20 years ago, these people would have just disappeared.
Well,
and you'd be like, "What happened to so and so?"
Yeah,
a very good friend of mine feels that the entire Western world is on the verge of collapse because of the internet. But I think the internet and television and this access to people is what's created this humanizing of celebrities and royals and even politicians.
Because you see people
when they're not on.
Yeah,
when they're not on.
You get access to people you see people when they have their bad days. You see people when they're having their best days. You see people, what a great transition, when they have a brain fart and it leads to a huge fucking conversation that has reared its ugly head again. It's been going since the 90s, but ladies and gentlemen, we are back for round 766 of Britney versus Christina. So, for those of you who haven't been following this week's Britney drama, because there's always something going with Brit, Britney made a comment on social media about how the dancers that were hired for her were always super, like, lithe and skinny and, trim people to make her look bigger, to keep her on her regimen of exercise and stuff like that. She said, if I had Christina Aguilera's dancers, I would look my normal size, because Christina.
I think she said tiny, but this is also with a meme about hanging out with fat people to be thin, to look thin.
I know, yeah.
So she's in poor taste in the whole thing. I don't think she has much emotional intelligence. No, and then someone had come at me in the comments saying, you're saying she's not intelligent. And I'm like,
can I just finish my thought for a second?
No, no.
So, Christina's male dancers are very, very buff usually. Her female dancers are quite voluptuous. So that's the backstory. Then Britney stuck her foot in the mouth because, as Luke said, she doesn't have that emotion. We all know she's led a super sheltered life. This is stuff that comes out of the mouth of teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah?
She does. It's the emotional intelligence. It's like
the emotional intelligence thing.
The family has stunted her emotional growth. She's still that Disney girl.
She's stuck, and it's disgusting. And I feel her melting. Like, I feel like she is literally melting in front of us, and she's gonna have another fucking breakdown. Somebody's gonna rain on her again. Sorry,
but she's already have it on social media this week. She was dancing and crying on Instagram.
Oh,
I saw that. She was off her fucking head. It was actually uncomfortable to watch. I couldn't.
I know.
There was nothing amusing about it. I was like, "Whoa."
This is what the world needs to see, though.
All the time.
Because we didn't see this. It was sheltered away, for better, for worse. It was taken away from the public to keep that pristine image of, this is Britney Spears. She will not be anything other than her 17-year-old self, to keep the money machine going. She might not be mentally well, but we're actually seeing, and we had this conversation when the Free Britney thing happened. I said, now she's out there. She will do what happens is of her own action.
Yeah.
She has to deal with the action. And as Vera said, she has to deal with the repercussions of what she is. She has to grow up.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it because of social media, like we just talked about. We're seeing how all this is going to play out.
Yeah.
There was a whole bunch of chubby people screaming "Free Britney."
Yeah.
Come on, Christina. Don't make them feel
bad. Christina has now unfollowed Britney. Christina's done again. Now, to Christina's credit, Christina of the early 2000s would have fired back and but Christina's simmered. I think she looks fucking smoking as a redhead.
Yeah.
She looks so good. But she's a chickie that, for better, for worse.
She's always been voluptuous.
She fluctuates. Yeah. That's what happens. Yeah. She's a regular person.
Even at her thinnest, she's curvy.
Yeah.
She's always curvy.
And look, all it took for me, and she has been, if we're honest, she's been wandering in the wasteland of reality TV and whatever. Hasn't really troubled the music charts or whatever for a long time.
Yeah.
12 months ago, I think it was, for Disney, when she sang at the Christmas, I think it was the Christmas. Yeah, it would be, because I was like, oh, that's it. That's Christina Aguilera. That's what you go for. Like, that voice is one in a million. Whether you love it or not, it is definitely a voice of a generation.
Mm-hmm.
I really want her to get like a better management company and a better record company, and she should be a
she
legend.
Could be like an Adele almost. Like she
should be a legend.
Get herself a producer.
Just she has to shake.
And I think the
Christina
era that
Aguilera.
she came out to was the Britney era, and they tried to just make her another Britney, and I don't think that image really ever suited Christina.
No.
Well,
You know, Genie in a Bottle is a great song, but
no, well,
and it is
to be
hers.
Weren't
fair,
they
But
both Disney kids?
they were both Mickey. They were both on the
Mickey
Mickey Mouse
Mouse.
Club together. They were very, very similar when they started out. Britney sang more like Christina.
Yeah.
In the day, if you look back at those
Yeah,
vocals,
they changed her voice.
they changed her up so she would appeal to the masses.
Yeah.
And then you throw other people in. There's a real I've watched part of a documentary about Jessica Simpson and how she was trying to fit in with that mold as well, and how every step of the way she goes, are you Britney or are you Christina? There's like what makes you different, what makes you the same. And you've got to think there was that slew of girls that came out at the same time that were
Mandy Moore.
Mandy Moore, Jessica Simpson.
Hillary Duff.
No, that was later. Here's one. Willa Ford. Willa Ford, anyone?
I don't remember her.
With your baby.
Can we bring up that picture of Christina just for a second again?
We can. With her boobs around.
I have. All right, check out that is makeup on her boobs.
Oh, absolutely. And
it's totally made up. Those
definitely
is contour because she loves the drag queens. She is a drag queen. Mm-hmm. Christina is a drag queen, and she loves it. And that's why I love her for it.
Totally shaded and highlighted to accentuate.
I am ready for a Christina comeback. I'm ready for it. I hope it happens soon. I think Britney, and as much as I have loved Britney, will always love Britney. I'm so happy for her that new song has done so well for her. We need to let it go.
Honestly, I didn't know it was just a remake. Like
we need to just let her go into the wilderness and do whatever she wants.
Like they made such a big deal about this new song, and then when I heard it, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? That's it? Like that's the fucking new song? You just sang an old fucking song? Like
that's what we do these days.
It was fucking pointless. Like you came back
this
to what?
This is the state of the music industry, Christina. Welcome. Welcome. You just put a dance beat. You put a dance beat under something, and it's and different elements of different songs, and it's new. Everything old is new again.
Yeah.
What a great segue.
Yes.
If you have not been living under a rock, you would have seen. If you haven't seen the trailer, you would have seen the reaction to the first release of a proper trailer for Disney's live-action remake of The Little Mermaid, which is coming out next year in March 2023. Now, the incredibly talented Miss Halle Bailey is our new Ariel. That vocal. Yeah. I don't know. Have you just seen the trailer, guys?
I've only seen the trailer. Well, I've seen the trailer and the reactions.
On Instagram.
I love the reactions.
On Instagram, they showed that whole part of your world. Seen at D23.
Really?
It is breathtaking.
Shit.
The vocal, the choices that she has made.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like so Hasefet. It is so. I don't even know. I got emotional, and I'm like, oh, where is this coming from? Like I didn't understand where it came from. And we will talk about that. So let's do the elephant in the room.
She's black.
She's black.
Oh my God, no!
That's a big elephant.
A lot of people are having a problem with that. Now,
a lot of people have feelings.
Here's Lashana's comment. So here we go. I'm going to say
reading
this
that for girl.
2 cents. Representation matters. I've seen reactions to little girls and young ladies reacting to the trailer saying she looks like me. It means so much to the community. When Black Panther came out, people did not complain now. Yes, thank you. That The Little Mermaid is coming out. Everyone is up in arms. I'm only going to say this once. Get over it and take 300 gold-plated bedpan seats. Period.
And
now,
little kids don't care.
Yes.
My daughter said that she likes the new Ariel because she's real life. That's all she sees. Right.
There was several,
Look.
and I'm not on Insta. I'm only on TikTok. But there were several little white girls watching this with a similar reaction. Oh God, she's beautiful. Oh God, she's alive. You know.
Yeah.
I gotta say, if you watch those reaction videos of those young girls reacting to Ariel live, and you still have a problem with this casting, you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And the thing is, cartoon Ariel's going nowhere either. She's
No.
still there.
Yeah, exactly.
She's embedded in everyone's mind. So why can't this happen?
Yeah.
Well,
what were you going to say,
I
Christina?
I love the argument that says it's not historically accurate.
Yeah, we'll
it's
talk
a
about that in a
fucking
sec.
mermaid.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Historically accurate, but we were at the store the other day, and my daughter, I go, "What doll do you want?" Because now she's, a grown chick going to school, so she has to get a gift, of course. And she goes, "I want the pretty one up there with the blue dress." It's a black doll. I have 3 other black Barbies in my living room right now. We don't see fucking color. Like,
Good.
why is
They
why
like
are
the
we up in
dress.
arms that they're remaking a movie? What the fuck does it matter? That's who they cast. Like,
Let the kids
don't
enjoy
see
it.
the
Let
deal.
little kids
Like,
find the
it's for
joy in it.
kids,
Don't
exactly.
bring adult shit to this.
To
Mhm.
me, and this might, I don't know, I'm just going to spout what I feel. If you have a problem with this, then that's a problem.
With you.
In general, if you have a problem with how a fictional character is being demonstrated racially, that speaks of your problem, not a problem in general. This tells me that the people that have this reaction have never felt other, have never been on the outside, have never not seen themselves in media and felt accepted and being able to look on screen and go, that's someone like me that is going through something, and that can be symbolic for a child to go, well, I can go through my day of school, or I can get through bullying, or I can go through a shitty home situation because I can see Ariel being strong and doing stuff with like an independent girl and being strong. It's not even that. Like, I can't put into words how important it is, especially for children, that they see themselves in media
And that's part of the
and know
joy
that they're
you
okay, and know that they don't have to
Yeah.
be a certain type of character. They can be themselves, and they can be successful, they can be celebrated, they can be happy, and they can feel loved, even if it's not from their family or their home. There is something out there that is signifying that I'm okay and that everything I am seen. And if you are one of the people that are disliking a fucking movie trailer, like,
honestly, it's not even about.
This is the people that fucking Omicron should have wiped out.
Right. Right.
What I don't get, it's like, just because it's being remade, like, just because she was white doesn't mean she can't be black. Like, it's just a remake, and again, it's for kids nowadays. It's not for us. It's for the kids, and it's the grown assholes from before that saw. I grew
This is
up
the
with a
thing.
white
They're like,
mermaid,
oh, why
so
can't
this
she
is
be
a white
green, or why
mermaid.
can't she be blue, or why can't she be orange? It's like, then you don't get the conversation.
Right.
Here's
They're saying,
don't
well,
get
it's
the
not
conversations,
Ariel.
just
Well, it's
stay
the
out
new
of it.
Ariel. It's the new Ariel. So get the fuck used to it.
Here's
Like,
the
don't
thing.
get-
They're going to start fucking with Smurfette next, racist. You watch.
Here's the thing that kills me, though, is there's all the fake science and the fake history. It's like, oh, this was written by Hans Christian Andersen, and he was from Northern Europe, and everybody's white. Well, no, because The Little Mermaid that Hans Christian Andersen wrote was a veiled homosexual tale, and The Little Mermaid that the Disney wrote has flamingos and crabs and all these tropical fish, so they're not the same story.
No.
And
But
again,
the core
mermaids
story is about
are fake. Mermaids
Yeah.
the core
don't
story is
exist.
about an allegory for his relationship with his love for a married man that he could never be with. That's what The Little Mermaid's actually
And that's
about.
what,
And
and I always
voice
thought
that was
The Little
lost.
Mermaid was like a story about classism and wanting to be part of this world that you're not allowed to be. So I think
Right.
for Halle to play this Haley, I should say, to
Yeah.
play this. Is Haley?
Haley.
Haley.
Haley Bailey. For her to play this character brings another layer to that character.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
Why can't
That
it?
makes
But
it
why
more
can't it be
rich.
all these things?
Yeah.
Why can't a gay kid see their coming out journey in this? Why can't a
Right.
black girl see acceptance in this? Why can't a white girl
Mhm.
see whatever they want to see in it? Why does it have to be one thing?
Why can't it just be normal? Why is
Yeah.
skin color even an issue in 2022?
That's what I'm
For
saying. Like,
God's sake.
my daughter, if I brought her, or if it's a live action, I don't fucking know, whatever it is, say it was in the theaters, I brought her to the theater, she doesn't know that there was a white Ariel, you know? Like, she doesn't know this is what she's seeing and experiencing for the first time. And we are making this a big deal for them. And they are going to see the way that we are reacting to this and say, well, okay, well, there was a white one and there was a black one. And I don't see the problem with it, but my mom does, or my dad does, or my uncle asshole does. And I don't
Peter
know.
Tosh-
Whereas
my
most little kids,
movie.
until that's put in their mind, is only
Peter-
seeing there's a cartoon one and a real life one. That's all
Exactly.
So
they're
let's-
seeing.
Like you said,
let's
it's a
look at
real moment.
Peter's comment. The Brandy version of Cinderella is the best version, hands down. I love the
I've
Brandy
never
version
seen
of
it, but I've
Cinderella.
saw
Oh,
the
it's
cover
good.
so many
The
times when I worked at
Brandy
Civic
Brandy
Video.
and Whitney Houston. Come on. When you get the best talent, you can get the best production, and Halle Bailey is clearly the best choice. Her voice and talent is amazing, and we have only seen the tip of the
This much
iceberg.
of it. I know.
Mhm.
Melissa McCarthy, who is playing Ursula,
Yes.
Oh,
Is
we
modeling
haven't
herself on
seen that.
Divine, which
Ursula
Ursula was
originally
modeled on
purple.
originally.
so
Why is
she,
casting a purple person to play that?
Yeah,
Ursula
exactly.
was purple.
Yeah.
but she said, I heard her. They played some tracks of Halle singing some of the songs on the set, and she goes, I can't not cry when she sings. She puts there's so much purity and like everything in it. So this conversation is going to keep going, but I don't. You're on the wrong side of history if you've got a problem with this. There you go.
There's a lot of people on
You're
the wrong side of history right now.
Yeah, but history keeps repeating or keeps coming back, especially if you're Ray J. Speaking of Brandy, Ray J, Brandy's little brother.
Coming on her back, you mean?
So,
I'll tell you what, though.
the momager
Ray J
of all
can go.
momagers,
Oh, that video. Woo!
that's Brandy's little brother. You know, he's doing well for himself. The momager of all
Under the
momagers was
sea.
on Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon?
I
think it
don't
was Jimmy
remember.
Fallon, yes.
And did a lie detector test.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, because Chris has nothing to hide.
It's Chris. Oh, fuck me. I think the oceans will boil when we hear the truth from Chris Jenner. But anyway, on the Lord's Day as well, Christina. So Chris was asked a question whether she had any involvement with Kim's sex tape, and she said no. Now, receipts.
The
No,
only reason why she
apparently-
passed is she was on so much medication and her heart rate is so steady. I could just.
Yeah, I know, right? Too many Percocets, she can't.
She pumped
function.
out the beta blockers before that, I bet you.
So, Ray J has literal receipts. Ray J claims that he was hired to film 3 tapes with Kim in order to boost her presence in the public eye. The most disturbing thing is, though, Chris
Mummy, watch
watched
them.
the tapes and demanded a reshoot.
No.
No, she liked the
But
first one. It was
She
more authentic.
decided which one
Their
Kim
first
was
little
best in.
orgasm.
Yeah,
And
which one
so
Kim
which
looked best
one?
in? So they did 2 apparently, and the first one was okay and represented Kim. The second one was too much Ray J.
Yeah, too much.
So she demanded a 3rd reshoot.
Oh, I didn't know.
That
like
is
I said.
so cringy.
That is disgusting. It's like selling your
Oh my-
child into sex slavery or
Yes,
something.
it's.
Caitlyn
It's
Jenner ain't
awful.
looking too bad right now, is she?
Well,
Oh,
she
no,
still,
Caitlyn Jenner
she
looks
still
like
killed
shit.
someone.
She's a
Let's not forget
racist.
that.
Caitlyn Jenner looks like shit.
I didn't
She's
even
a-
realize it until like I was listening to something today that this was because of how well or how publicized Paris Hilton's sex
And
tape
Kim was
was.
Paris's assistant.
Yes, and I didn't realize because I was young. Like, how long ago was this tape
This
out?
was-
Like,
Oh my God!
this is
decades
like
ago.
early to mid 2000s, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
because
like,
At least.
Paris's was
Remember when
early
everyone
2000s.
wanted a sex tape and all the girls were getting out of the cars with no knickers on? So we had the Britney, the Lindsay
yeah, I was like,
There's
all
that
of their
epic-
vaginas
there's that
everywhere, all on the same week.
There's that epic photo of Christina, of Paris, Britney, and Lindsay together.
yeah,
That's like peak 2000s. But
yeah,
yeah, Kim basically tried to take Paris Hilton's career,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
yeah,
By
I
taking
like,
it-
ew.
taking
Well,
it
was
up
she
the
trying
ass.
Kim
to
needs
take
to find who
Paris's
Kim
career,
is.
or was she trying to create a career of her own?
Yeah,
No,
she took the
definitely-
prototype and ran with it.
Paris.
Yeah.
That's my daughter's stuff.
Peter, beautiful. Please come back every week.
Oh,
Okay, so
God.
listeners, Peter
Oh my
has written,
God.
"That's my daughter's muff's bad side. Reshoot that scene, Chris Jenner."
Oh.
And that is
I
that.
don't know. And I guess it's not really my demographic because I am not a straight male, but Paris is these sex tapes aren't sexy.
No.
Paris,
I didn't see Paris's. I saw
Kim's like,
Kim's,
yeah.
but I didn't see Paris's. And Kim's was
Paris's was very lazy. It was like a lot of Valium had done the rounds during that. They were like,
That's hot.
She's so rich.
Very
she
on
doesn't
brand
need
for
to give
Paris.
the O.
Yeah.
Come on, she's got all the money. She doesn't need to give the O.
Yeah.
Very Paris.
She did,
Very
though.
Paris on Brett Safet one more time.
Safet's whole world's just melted away today.
But yeah, look, it's interesting, right? Like,
Cringe.
could you
It's so
imagine
cringe.
watching your own child?
No. No. I couldn't watch.
Ah!
But this is how
Not okay.
narcissistic and sociopathic these people are. That they're gonna,
Oh,
as Peter said, "Oh, your buff doesn't look good there, Kim. Reshoot." Like,
vagina. Like the sisters were shaving each other's vaginas when Courtney was having her baby. Like,
I
That's-
know, and then
Yes.
Daddy was off getting a vagina. It's just so much vagina in that
it's
family.
a lot of
Okay.
vagina. A lot of
this
vagina.
is like it is a quote for a reason. The devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder.
Yeah.
It is.
Wow.
It is a proven.
Shaving my sister's
proven
vagina. For her.
What a
anything-
legacy, Kris Jenner. What a legacy.
Anything
Yeah, I
to get
know.
those kids famous, right? I have a better
She
day.
succeeded. Her children are billionaires.
They are. Look, whatever.
They are
If
billionaires.
there's an Illuminati, I think they've got something to do with it. Let's go.
I'd suck a dick for $1 million too. Don't get me
I know,
wrong. I'm
right?
just saying, like,
What's
anybody
my soul
would.
done for me lately? Come on, rude.
All right, Steve's going to release the Uncensored radio sex tape.
Let's make a sex tape when you guys are here next month.
Oh,
Why
God.
not?
No one
The whole
wants to see
cast.
that, Vera. No one wants to see that. It's a very niche market. I don't know
I'll
what to
release
tell
it. I'll be the one to leak it, to leak the video.
them. Yeah,
That
Christina's
would be
coming.
for
The,
fan
Christina's
only.
the Kris Jenner of our
Yes.
situation.
Yeah.
She's going to monetize. She's
You
gonna
make sure
bootleg
my
and
muff
monetize.
looks good in each shot, won't you,
I
Christina?
will. I will. I'm good at editing, you know.
She's not, she's
Powder
on
the
bus
muff.
patrol.
I will.
Lighting. We'll get your lighting right.
All the lighting. Yep.
All
Yeah.
the lighting.
I'll buff out any
Make
mold.
sure there's no prolapsing happening.
Yeah.
Oh God, too much. Too much. But it's that time of the
Do
show.
we even need
anyway
a What
where
the
we-
Fuck weekly?
No, it's
I
that
think we're
time of the
getting
week
warm.
where someone gets very warm
Ooh-ah.
because it's time for Vera's hang on, I get that vibe. Well, now you've really heated her up. Oh dear. Vera's getting sledged from the sidelines. She's not ready.
Exactly.
Okay. Are you ready, V? You got this?
I'm ready. I'm a little
All
warm.
right, 3,
I got the nose.
2,
Good.
1. Vent.
All right, kids. We're going to take it somewhere a little bit more serious. In all the news today and all the mermaid drama, we may have missed this, but Ron DeSantis chartered 2 planes and dropped 33 immigrants off in Martha's Vineyard on Wednesday. Now, I don't know if anybody's following the immigrant drama quite as much as I am, but here's a little something that I think you should know. Since Joe Biden has taken office, Republican governors, Ducey in Arizona, Abbott in Texas, and now Ron DeSantis have decided that they have absorbed too much of the immigrant crisis and they are going to ship these immigrants off to the Democratic states and make this Biden's open border problem. Well, let's start with the fact that there's no open borders, in spite of how many times they say it. We do not have an open border policy. And all of the immigrants that Governor Abbott, Governor Ducey, and Governor DeSantis have chartered planes and buses to ship to Democratic states were all processed in Republican states. These aren't illegals that have come here, snuck across the border, swam through the river, crawled under that great big beautiful wall. No, these are people, refugees from specifically Venezuela, who have showed up because their country is war-torn and crime-ridden, seeking asylum, and were processed legally at the border, and then given court dates to appear for their immigration hearings. Not illegals, processed immigrants. And many of them who have arrived in these blue states have told a story that they've been approached in the parking lot by someone offering them money to go to a different state. Now, I've heard people throw around the word drug trafficking, saying that this is people trafficking. I don't know that that's true. I don't understand the legality of it. I do know that these 3 men are exploiting these people in crisis for political gain. They are pretending that these are illegals who are snuck in the country, who come here to rape our women and take our jobs. Of course, we've got more jobs than people right now because Trump deported like 500,000 Mexicans, and then another 2 million people retired during the pandemic because they don't want to die. So we've got all these jobs and nobody to do them. And lo and behold, here's workers who want to come to this country to flee their terrible circumstances, but let's exploit them. Let's create the worst possible political theater and drop them off in Martha's Vineyard. Now, all of these people have been served. There's been about 1,100 in the last 18 months that have been shipped to Democratic states, 4,000 in just the last 6 months. All right. Ron DeSantis chartered 2 private jets, 2, to bring 33 people to Martha's Vineyard. That's not a million. That's not millions and millions of people pouring over their borders. 33. If I lived in Florida, I'd want to know why my governor had enough money to ship 33 immigrants to a Democratic state, but they don't have enough money to secure their own elections. It's political theater, folks, and it stinks from word go. Now, they want to overrun these Democratic states and prove the point that immigration is a problem. The real problem is that nobody acknowledges that our economy is driven by underpaid migrant workers and has been for the last 50 years. Ronald Reagan ran his campaign pretending he was going to fix immigration and then figured out that if he fixed immigration, the California agricultural market would tank. You'd be paying $18 for a fucking tomato. And now that your President Trump, secured that border and deported 500,000 people, and people are paying $6 for a tomato, oh my God, it's Biden's fault. No, it's political theater. You need to pay attention, and you need to tell these people to stop. At the very least, it's immoral, and it might as well be illegal. That's my rant.
That's my rant. I love it.
I'm done.
That's my rant. Official full stop on the rant. We live. We live. Well done.
Look, we
V,
just
as
made
usual.
it.
Look, we're time
Pulling in.
sensitive. We are time sensitive. I do want to just bring up a couple of things before we finish because D23 has been in the news, which is Disney's big convention that they have once a year to announce their world domination plans. Once again, next year is 100 years of Disney, so it's going to be it's big. But there's big things happening all over. They're actually talking about new expansions for the parks and all this kind of stuff because, as Walt Disney said, Disneyland is never complete. So there's new stuff, new worlds, a villain's village that apparently exists.
Chris
Did
Jenner
Ron
in it.
DeSantis succeed in making Disney pay taxes? Did
Who
that happen?
knows, but-
No.
But the villain's
Political
village
theater.
exists beyond Thunder Mountain, so all of the land behind Thunder Mountain, which is not really being used at the moment, is has eyes on it to be set up for Encanto and all that kind of stuff, and the next generation of Disney stuff. So the parks keep growing, but we are celebrating the past, and the reason why I bring this up is because this year is a big anniversary for a very, I know, in my house, in my family group, in my friend group, this is Christmas tradition. 30-year anniversary of the Muppets Christmas Carol. If you do not watch that movie and get emotional, you have a heart of stone. I don't know about you guys, but that just screams my childhood, and I love every Christmas.
I was more a
at
Treasure
least
Island, Muppet Treasure Island.
Yeah,
Charlie Brown,
yeah.
the Charlie Brown Christmas movie, and the
But
Christmas story.
the biggest news, because it is literally now nearly 2 weeks away, and a trailer came out this week. Millennials everywhere are holding their breath. Hocus Pocus 2 is
It's not just millennials.
coming.
Very excited.
It's what we grew up, and the trailer's out. The trailer looks hilarious. I'm trying not to watch anything else that comes out, but we will be doing an assigned seating on the original Hocus Pocus, so you can get our reactions to it. There's a lot more uncensored horror coming up. Dr. Dana is always in session on Mondays, and we've got some stuff coming up because it is like 21 days until we arrive in the States. So there's going to be lots of madcap adventures. So make sure you follow us on all the social medias to keep in track. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Luke. Thank you, Vera, for joining me today. And we will see y'all next week. Stay spicy, everyone. Bye. What you will see. Someday I'll be part of your...
That was my audition song when I used to do auditions.
Oh, we're gonna